Sorry, Chris.
Oh, that's okay. And so with the kids, I showed put a face to each name. And again, I went through and reiterated the alpha breakdown. And then I explained counseling has 3 main curricular areas. We advise our graduation and that they're placed appropriately so that they will be successful. We offer college and career guidance. We walk them through that. We walk them through that college application process, and we also guide them through that career search. And then we offer social emotional support. So those are our 3 main curricular areas. Kyle? So it was important to explain to the students that we're on trimesters. They're used to a semester schedule. And I explained how our year is in thirds. And so we will start school sometime in August. We don't have an exact day right now, but sometime in August. And final exams, students will take right before Thanksgiving, students will take a final exam in each of their courses. And during the first week of class, teachers go through a course syllabus, and I explain what that was all about. And it highlights the course description. Sometimes they'll have deadlines listed, but they explain their grading scale, including their final exam and the weight of their final exam. After Thanksgiving, students will have 5 classes, and it could be with new teachers. It will be with new teachers. They will take final exams mid-March, and then after final exams, they'll get 5 new classes. So I explained to them, they're taking 15 classes a year times 4 years, 60 opportunities at C-Home. And again, a part of our role as counselors, we will make sure they are on track for graduation and that they are placed appropriately. Kyle? So in this example, I explained how classes may fall. So in this scenario, the student is going to take core chem and core physics, very typical of our 9th grade students. That core chem and core physics could fall try 1 and try 2. They do not have a science class in try 3. Or in the second scenario, they do not have science, try 1, and they have science, try 2, and try 3. And then in the third scenario, they have science, try 1, they do not have a science class, try 2, and then you can see they have core physics, try 3. Kyle? So I'm going to share with you 2 examples or sample student schedules. So in this first example, let's just take a look at the green for try 1. The student has first hour English 9A, second hour personal fitness, third hour integrated 1A, fourth hour world history, and then fifth hour band. We have a great band and orchestra program. And it's important when students make the choice that they understand that is their elective choice. Quite often we will have students come down to our office and tell us they don't have an elective and they would like to make some schedule changes. And when I look at their schedule, they have band. I have to remind them, no, band is your elective choice. And so for the most part, students take band or orchestra all 3 tries, but there are certain trimesters based on grad requirements or their choices, they may have to take a try off band or orchestra, and the teachers are very understanding, so we can work through that. A couple other things I want to point out with this sample is in try 2, the student has English 9B, it might be with a different teacher. Quite often that happens. And then I just went through the examples here of how in a trimester, your teacher can change, the hour can change. English could be 4th hour. Maybe it's not first hour in try 2. And so that's just the nature of trimesters. The other thing I explained to the students, our schedule change policy. We allow students to change their schedule the first week of each trimester. After that, they're going to live with their schedule. So it's really important if they notice any mistakes or they're not happy with something. that they come see their counselor, do what we can to honor their request. In the perfect world, students will have 4 core classes, 1 elective. Core meaning English, math, science, social studies, or world language. So ideally, they'll have 4 core and 1 elective. It doesn't always happen. Sometimes the way their classes fall, we may only run 1 section of it and it collides with another class. We have to make choices, and that's a part of growing up and working through that in high school. Kyle? So in this next example, we're using our Flex program. In Flex, we had an info session earlier, so I'm not going to go into explaining what Flex is all about, but here I want to point out that in this example, it's a block, 1st and 2nd hour, and then you can see the other classes. So it's a nice visual for students to look at, and a nice visual. I think it's helpful. Next. So the students were given a 9th course selection sheet, and it's located in a couple places, but on our See Home Counseling website, if you click on class pages, there's a page for the class of 2026. I have this 9th grade scheduling form along with the course catalog, the presentation, and a little intro video from Mr. Flatt, one of our counselors. So I went through with the students today and just showed them how you would go ahead and just pencil in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, working your way through 15 classes, choosing some alternates. And they have to be alternates that they're happy with, because we do not email or call the student asking, hey, can we switch out one of your first choices for your alternates? We go ahead and plug that in when we need to make their schedule work. At this time, I also mentioned sometimes students like to take some of their elective requirements during the summer. Personal fitness and computer tech are 2 of the most popular electives that are required for graduation. I know that sounds funny, but that would go through community ed. So if your student or families are interested for personal fitness or computer tech, you would reach out to community ed or go to their website. They have information about summer school and scheduling. It typically happens in March. Personal fitness fills up quickly. It's like getting concert tickets. You want to be right on it. Computer tech, usually you can get into that, and you don't have to do it. Remember, you have 60 choices, 60 slots. You have time to take care of these grad requirements, but some students, some families just want to get it done, and so you can go ahead and look into that and see if it works for you. Next. So this is our bell schedule. We start at 7:30 and we end at 2:50. Notice Tuesday and Thursday look different. That's referred to as X block. During X block, we want our students in the building. We want them working with teachers. This is a great opportunity for students to get additional. They struggled with a concept or they're a little lost in class. If they want to make sure they're studying the right material for an upcoming quiz or test, they can show the teacher what they're studying, and the teacher can either confirm or redirect them. Or let's say they bomb a quiz or a test, they can go in and get help and learn from it. So we want our students in during X block. It's not required, but it's strongly encouraged. The other thing I want to point out is lunch. Lunch is based on your 3rd hour teacher. Our administration will put out a lunch schedule sometime before school starts, and based on the student's teacher, they will have A lunch or B lunch. Students are required to stay in the building. Our 9th and 10th graders are upper class students, with the permission of their parents, can leave for open campus. But again, our 9th graders, even if they have an older sibling, must stay in the building for lunch. Next. So here's the flow of activity. As I mentioned, we were at Derby yesterday, BCS today. We're living curriculum night right now. The 8th grade teachers at Derby and BCS will be making recommendations. Derby will be mailing out those recommendations and BCS will be emailing the recommendations. So the 8th grade teachers, we rely on them 100%. We do not know your student. We don't know their aptitudes and abilities and work ethic and just what kind of student they are, but the 8th grade teachers have this information. They know your students. We completely rely on them for recommendations. So the 8th grade teachers will be making the recommendations. You'll get that information next week. So between the presentations we've given in the buildings tonight, the recommendations, and working with the middle school students, we're hoping we can get all your questions answered, and then the C-Home counselors will be back at Derby on Valentine's Day, February 14th. I will bring candy. And then we will be at BCS on the 15th. I'll still bring candy. And we will schedule the students. We will sit with the students one-on-one, and we will go ahead and look at their choices. We walk the group through, hey, all right, we're in the English bucket. Let's click. Are you choosing English 9A and 9 Flex, A, B, and C? And then social studies. We walk them through, and then we go through one-on-one and proof their selections to make sure they're entered correctly. And then the students will receive their schedule in August during Make Me a Maple. It's their orientation. If they have an older sibling, their older sibling may get their schedule ahead of time, but we want our freshmen to get their schedule during orientation. It's a part of the programming and working with their mentor and finding their classes and getting their books and all that good stuff. So they will get it at that time. Next. I would like to just point out our 9th grade academic lab. Your student may be recommended for 9th grade academic lab. It's a 2-pronged support system. You don't have to take advantage of both opportunities, although we strongly encourage it. This would be a case where it's additional support in reading and or math. So the grade teachers will recommend if a student could use that additional support. The reading and math foundation class takes place during the summer. It's free. It's the second half of summer school, and the student will be getting some of that additional support and interventions. The academic lab teachers go through organization and time management, and they just help guide the student and keep them on task and helping them break down some of the more overwhelming kinds of projects or just trying to redirect them and help them with their organization, in addition to the curricular pieces of the reading and math support. So we hope your student, if they're recommended, takes advantage of that. They don't have to take it all 3 tries. They could take it 1 try or 2 tries. Try it out for a trimester, and then we can add it on if it works and it's making a difference. So that's a little information there about 9th grade academic lab. Next. We want everyone to attend our activities night, so mark your calendar. Dr. O'Leary will speak to this, so I'm not going to take it away from her, but it's coming and it's a good one. And then finally, I believe, Kyle, one more click is just a reminder that our information is on our website. So don't worry if the student loses their 9th grade selection sheet, although I left a bunch in the middle schools. They also received a hard copy of our course catalog. We give the course catalog to the 8th grade families, and then from that point on, we're directing all of the students, our current 9th, 10th, and 11th grade students, to look at the website. It's a big book. We don't want to take down any more trees. So we will have the older students look at the digital copy. And if your student loses their hard copy, please look at the digital copy on the website. I believe that's it, and I will be available later in the Q&A session that Kyle will give you some more information about later time.
Okay, thanks so much, Chris. We have a few people saying that there's a chance that there's a trip to Washington, D.C. on the 25th.
Oh, okay.
So the 8th graders might not be there for activities night, so we might need to relook at that.
Yeah, we can definitely reschedule. Thank you, Mike. We can definitely schedule that. So we'll get in touch with Derby and or be we will reschedule that so it's at a more convenient time. But thanks for that information. We appreciate it. And now I just want to go through a few more people here that we're going to offer some important information about this transition between the 8th and 9th grade and how to be connected and a part of the Seaholm family. So first up are our assistant principals, Delois Spryzak for grades 9 and 10 next year, and Mike Wicker for grades 12 next year. Delois is not here tonight, but Mike is, and so take it away, Mike.
Hi, yeah, so I'm Michael Wicker. I'm one of the 2 assistant principals. Next year, I'll be working with the upperclassmen, though we do work with all students. If there's something that is in need, just because I am not the 9th grade assistant principal does not mean that I am not here for our 9th grade class. So the assistant principal has a lot of different hats we wear here at Seaholm. Right now, my biggest one is contact tracer for COVID-19, but we also work with students in all sorts of different committees. We work with students on trying to find students for different groups that the central office needs or different groups that within the building. We're also in charge of discipline. So when students make a mistake, they get to come down and when we talk about, you know, what was the mistake and what we're going to do moving forward to rectify it. We spend a lot of time talking about our restorative practices here at Seaholm. So while people do get things like detentions and suspensions, the real goal here in our disciplinary system at Seaholm is to, again, restore, try to figure out where the harm was done and get those harms corrected through our restorative practices process. So that's one of the things that we've been emphasizing for the last couple of years. So I guess one of the big things that for your students, if I or Ms. Spryzak call them down, being called down to the principal's office does not always mean that you're in trouble. I have kids I had to call down to pick up a sheet of paper and they tell me that their anxiety goes off the charts because I called their classroom and asked them to come down and see me. So the assistant principal does lots of things and they're not always just about kids that are in trouble. So if you get a phone call from us or if your kid gets called down, there are many reasons why we contact students and parents. But we are here to help. We help assist the teachers and assist the students in making their transition to Seaholm a good one, as well as making sure that their time at Seaholm for the next 4 years is a good time as well.
All right. Well, thank you, Mike. And it's just a good reminder that the mission of Seaholm is to think with reflection, act with compassion, and perform with honor. And so even at our core in terms of discipline and behavior, that's the question we ask. In what way did you violate one of the pillars of our mission? And how are you going to restore and make things better? Because discipline at the high school level is a learning opportunity. Okay, we want our students to learn. We all make mistakes, and we want to make sure that fundamentally that we are graduating students who understand that and understand the power of apology, understand the power of grace, and understand the power of learning from our mistakes. Okay, and next we have Mr. Aaron Frank, our athletic director, who will speak to us athletics.
Thanks, Kyle. Hi, everyone. My name is Aaron Frank, as Mrs. Hall said. I want to tell you that I have 4 children myself, so I'm keenly aware of the process you're going through. My 3 oldest have graduated from Seaholm, and so I was in your shoes not too long ago. This is my 24th year as athletic director here, and I'm just going to give you a brief overview of a few things. We do have a lot going on here tonight. We have a swim and dive meet on the boys' side and girls basketball. So when I'm done with my presentation, I'll head back to the gym and pool. Feel free to call or email me with any questions you might have. At the high school level, we have 3 athletic seasons, which of course is different than the middle school at 4. So our 3 seasons are fall, winter, and spring. The fall season begins in August, well before the start of school. Winter has a rolling start date. The sports are different. Some are in November, some are December. And then all the spring sports start in March. We do offer something for everyone here. We have 35 varsity sports. Several are no-cut sports. about 70% of our student body participates in at least one interscholastic sport. I highly recommend that students participate in a fall activity because we start early and it gives the high school student a really nice opportunity to get a foot in the door, to develop a comfort level, to become close with a group of friends and get to know some upperclassmen, so that that first day of school is really just like another day, and it makes the transition much smoother for them. One of the things that's unique about high school sports versus the middle school is that virtually all of our programs do activity during the summer. Even winter and spring sports typically have summer activities. That activities fair is a really important time to connect with the coach. And as was previously stated, we'll certainly make sure that date is not in conflict with a big Derby trip, because most incoming freshmen do attend that activity fair, and it's a great time to learn about all of the sports. Everything is listed on our website, all the sports and contact information for the coach. And it's not too early to reach out and contact the coach. So feel free to do that. I'm sure many of you are planning on summer trips and other things that may conflict, and we're well aware of that. So reach out to the coach and they can help you with some information about the upcoming plans for this summer. Of course, the previous few years have been a little goofy with COVID, but I do want you to know that athletics has provided a real sense of normal for our student athletes, and we do anticipate that virtually everything will run just like normal, throughout this school year, and then of course into the summer. Last thing I just want to tell you is because this kind of trips up people from time to time. The way the athletic physicals work is mandated by the Michigan High School Athletic Association. A physical must be completed by the provider, signed by the provider, on or after April 15th of this year, 2022, to be valid for the entire next school year. This is important for some of you that probably get a physical annually paid for by insurance. If it comes up between now and April 15th, if you can push it off just a little bit, then you will be good for the entire school year next year. And you can feel free to send that to us anytime, or you can wait till we open registration in the summer. I look forward to meeting everybody. Again, feel free to call me or email me or stop by a See Home athletic event, and enjoy the rest of the evening.
Hey, thanks, Aaron. Again, just want to emphasize that a lot of our students, 70% of our students are participating in a sport. There are lots of sports that there are no cuts, sports where a student competes against his own time. There are so many ways to be athletically engaged at our school and to be a part of a team. And so if that's something you think that your son or daughter would benefit from, I highly suggest you talk to Aaron if you have questions about which one. And some of you, of course, your kids already know what they want to be involved in, but it really does help. It does help for them to feel that connection even walking into the building. And there'll be other ways. There are another way that you can, for those of you who maybe are thinking, but my kid doesn't like sports, my kid is so quiet, my kid is reserved, or then why not get them involved in an activity? And so I'm going to now turn it over to Dr. Suzanne O'Leary, who will talk about some of the other opportunities for our students, both our and our non-athletes. Suzanne?
Hi, everyone. Welcome to See Home. I'm so happy you joined us tonight. I know, like has been said previous, that sometimes transitioning from middle school to high school can be challenging and scary for parents and students, especially if it's the first time. So I just want you to know, along with the rest of the team here, I want to help make this transition as smooth as possible for you and for your students. And one way to really, I think really helps is encouraging your kids to get involved in the clubs and activities, the athletics that Aaron Frank just mentioned. There's also community service. And any combination of these, it's really, really helpful to help them with that transition. In addition to helping them, the clubs will help them to meet new friends, and they'll develop friendships. They'll be able to participate and develop time management skills and communication, leadership. All these things are great, great things that students will get out of participating in activities. At See Home, there's over 100 clubs and activities and sports teams. We have academic clubs such as STEM leadership and debate, national honor societies, several of them, including art and Spanish and English. We have, as been discussed, we have band and orchestra, theater. We have affinity clubs such as Jewish Culture Club, Black Student Union, Asian Student Association. There's service clubs and just fun clubs like drone, film, casual music. So there really is something for everybody here. And if there is a special interest that a student has and they don't see a club that fits, they can work with Mr. Wicker and myself and start a new club. In fact, this year alone, we've already had 17 new clubs added, and the kids have had a lot of fun with these. As was discussed about the activities fair, we will definitely change the date. I'm so grateful for you for letting us know, but this is a great time. The kids really set up these tables and they are there so that the kids can talk to kids. It's a great way to get the students' questions all answered. They can sign up right then and there. They can learn a lot about these, and it's in May, so before the summer even starts, they can get involved. There is, to our current student activities guide is on the website, as well as Kyle has spoke of that website. There is, if you go under clubs and activities, you can see the guide there, and it will show you what we currently have going on. So if your kids want to start taking a look and see what they want to get involved in. In addition to clubs and activities and athletics, there's many community service opportunities that allow our students to really help those in need, which is very rewarding for them. There's several service clubs, and there's also a list of volunteer opportunities that's continuously being updated. It's really great for them to get involved in these. And the thing that's great about this is anybody can join these clubs, and they can participate in as little or as much as they like, depending on their schedules and their activities. Some examples of these community service projects include filling a bus with donations from gleaners on field day, to raking leaves for seniors, to making meals for homeless, or wrapping gifts for children in the hospital. There's just a few of like the many activities that the students are getting involved in. And during the pandemic, the kids were so creative and found ways to continue to serve others. It was really heartwarming to see how helping others really helped our students as well. So if there's anything I can do to help your child get involved in clubs, activities, community service, or just help your whole family transition at C-Home, if your student's having a hard time and wants to meet friends, please reach out to me anytime. I just would love to help any way I can. So thank you, and enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thank you, Suzanne. And just as a reminder for those of you who were in the earlier program, that it's Dr. O'Leary, who is our coordinator for not only for building tours for new families, but also for students who may want to shadow for a day in the Flex program, maybe look at the Flex program, shadow maybe with the traditional program, whatever you feel your child would benefit from, is certainly something we invite here at C-Home. And so just contact Suzanne and she'll arrange that for you. And that brings us to basically our department chair, a Zoom Q&A, and they are going to put in the chat room, they're going to put their Zoom link, and if you have particular questions for any of the disciplines, major course, so that would be math and science, social studies, English, world language, but the other the elective departments, there is not a department chair for those, but Mike and I and Suzanne and Christy can answer some of those questions, although maybe Suzanne, I think you are going into a Zoom too for questions regarding activities. So I will stay here, Mike will stay here, and Christy will stay here if you have any questions for us. But this concludes our program, and I just want to say from of our heart here that we are looking forward to the class of 2026. It's hard to believe, but we are definitely forward to them joining us here at C-Home High School. The year will go quick, and I promise you that you're going to have a wonderful experience here at C-Home High School, whether you are from Derby or a private school who's checking out our system. Okay, so we will be here. I'm going to escape from this slideshow. It will be on our website, so you'll be able to access this. The recording will also be there. Please go ask some questions and or stay here and ask them. So have a great, great night.
Kyle, we have our first question. Is there a day in the spring that all the eighth graders will visit See Home, like a moving up day?
Thanks so much. Yes, we are looking into doing something along those lines. Today, we did not get to have, in the tour, the students got to do a tour. So if the student came at the house, they were able to tour, and then we usually try it again. They will also have a tour in August, but that will be with their schedule. So that's one during their orientation. So we will try, we're looking at doing something. Of course, circumstances surrounding the pandemic may dictate what we can and can't do. We would love another opportunity to have something, a transition day, our incoming ninth graders. Any other questions?
Hi, can you hear me? This is
Mhm.
Becky. I had a question. I have a son in orchestra, and I wasn't really clear when you said that's their elective, that's their full year elective. So does that mean for all 4 years, they're extremely limited on taking any other elective class? It's really only the core and then orchestra, or will some of the core requirements be taken care of and they'll have a few other opportunities to get a couple other electives in the mix?
Christy, I'll let you.
Yep, I'll answer that. You know, it's going to be based on the student's choices. So if they end up taking a few 3 track APs, that's going to eat up into their schedule. If they are in flat, takes more hours in their schedule. So is it possible to take some other electives outside of orchestra? But it is limited and it will be based on their other choice.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Any other questions?
I have a question.
Sure, Lori.
Hello. I am wondering, I was not able to attend the 6 p.m. flex. So
Sure.
is there like a thumbnail explanation of what that is? And then where
Sure.
can I go to, get more in-depth information if it seems something?
Sure. Flex is an interdisciplinary program between English and social studies. And so that's why we program there, because a student generally elects to take it or takes what we call the traditional program. So we had that program, but Flex is interdisciplinary. It is 3 trimesters long, whereas the traditional program is usually 2 trimesters. It is all 4 years, rotate a theme of each year. And they integrate the 4 grades as well as the disciplines. So that's in a nutshell what the program is, but it's much provide leadership opportunities and community opportunities, and they just do a lot. It becomes a kind of culture within the culture here at See Home. And we have about 10% of our students, I would say, on any given year, between 10 and 11% join the program. And it's an honors program. So it's an honors program for 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th grade.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say that you can learn more on that welcome class of 2026. There's a little bit about Flex. There's a video about Flex, but I would recommend if you'd like to reach out to Robin Moten or Rochelle Rogers, they can tell you more about the program. If you want to do it, if your child would like to shadow someone in the program and take a look at it, that would be available. And they do have some information. So if you reach out to those department chairs, they can provide more information. for
And
you.
so those are the two chairs of the
English and
English
social
and
studies.
social studies. Okay, and then
Right.
is the website, the actual website is welcome, what is the
2020
website?
class of 2026.
Okay.
That's, it's
.com.
embedded in, well, it's in, no, it's on our See Home webpage, and you'll see the link right there when you.
Got it.
on the
I
main
understand
page.
that. Okay,
Got it?
thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very
You
much.
you understand it better than I did then.
And the Flex program has its own website as well, the flexprogram.org, all one word. So theflexprogram.org is the Flex program website as well.
Is it like a national thing? Is that why, or is it just See Home's cool?
It
Just
is
See-
It's a unique See Home program.
Great,
Since 1964.
very interesting. Thank you.
Mhm.
About that, because I was in the flex thing earlier.
Mhm.
So some of these colleges that might have never heard of See Home and Flex, how do they assess that program compared to, kids that are taking AP courses or, whatever? Because I know you said that colleges look favorably on it, but that's if they know about it, I would imagine.
Well, most colleges, we have over the years since 1964, we've had a lot of students go off to a lot of different colleges. And so it is recognized as a honors, a rich, diverse, meaningful honors program that unique in that it integrates those two disciplines. It is not an AP program, although it does serve, like in the AP language, it will in the junior year, the students will receive instruction in that. The AP is a College Board recognized curriculum and program. So that's a little different. But and colleges, of course, across the country recognize that program because they recognize that curriculum. And so what colleges, and Christy really can say this better than I, they're looking for is that you have taken a rigorous program, what's available at your school. And Flex is an important part of the school. So the colleges make an effort to recognize that. But Christy, if you want to add anything to that.
Yes, our students in Flex and the students that do not participate in Flex, they equally get into competitive colleges. The information about our Honors Flex program is included in our file, and that's what admissions officers use to look at grading scales and data points and things like that. So they get the information front and center. In addition to that, the counselors in our letter of rec for a Flexi includes, again, reiterating the blurb about our Honors Flex program. We've never had an issue. And like I said, students that go through two different schooling options, they end up, at competitive schools. It's all good.
Christy,
There's
can
a
you
question about that.
CTE?
This is about honors bio versus core bio. It was early on in the chat about a guide. And so the general rule is if a student is a reader and they consistently get A's in their science classes in the middle school, then honors bio would probably be the recommendation. And you could ask your student's 8th grade teacher as well if you have any questions about that. But in general, and we were actually in the science classes at Derby, and the teachers just reiterated, this is a consistent A. This isn't an A because of extra credit points or a random A. This is earning consistent A's throughout the year. Then they will be recommended for honors bio.
There's a question there. Is the district considering moving from the trimester to the semesters? Yes, the short answer is yes, there is consideration. It will not happen for next year. And this year is the year that they're examining the schedule. There is a committee, a large committee being formed as we speak. We've had a steering committee. The larger committee is meeting for the first time next week. That committee includes teachers, administrators, 2 parents and 2 students from, one from each of the high schools and a handful of teachers from each of the high schools, and a handful of administrators from each of the high schools plus central office. So that committee is, and we've gathered information about what are the schedules in the district in the county around us, what kinds of schedules do they have? What serves our students best? And so we've been also we have actually a student voice committee here at Seaholm, and there is a subcommittee of the student voice committee that is examining and talking about the schedule and the semester schedule as well. And from that subcommittee, I pulled one of the student to be on the full committee, the district-wide committee. And we will also be meeting this year with the full student voice committee with different departments to talk about the advantages and disadvantages, of a semester schedule and what it can do and what the students are telling us what they want. And so we want to do a lot of listening. We want to do a lot of discussing and educating around this topic before a decision is made. The decision, like I said, is not made for next year. There's no way we could have gotten, it finished in time to do that. And the district is being very deliberate about that. But short answer, yeah, we are looking at the possibility of doing that. The concerns that were raised when we went to the trimester did seem to, in some cases, play out. And so we want to make sure that we're doing what is best for our students.
There's a question about CTE programs. Lori, I might need some more information about what you need. I can tell you that the curriculum is based on high demand, high wage careers that are needed, particularly in our state, but there are alignment and articulation agreements with colleges. And Lori, I guess I need a little more information, but I'll do my best to answer your question.
Right. I know that if a student, and this is what I think Christy is alluding to, if a student takes a certain number of our career-focused education courses, then they can get some certification. So we are working with that. We have a course right now. One of our courses is doing where they actually have mentors from Google who zoom into our students' classes and serve as mentors and experts, real world experts in the field. It's pretty exciting what some of the things that are happening in our CTE courses.
Yeah, I guess my question was, they're in the course catalog, and if students complete certain classes, it meets the qualification for the CTE.
Right.
And then it also talks about how they can get some type of college credit.
Mhm.
So I've been asking for more information because my son has completed a bunch of those.
That's wonderful. That's pretty exciting. And we are looking forward to seeing it grow. We have hired our person who was in charge of CTE course moved jobs, and she's no longer in the district, but we just hired a department chair who will oversee that program at both Groves and Seaholm. So that's the exciting news. And we can have more information, including the name of that person, so you can talk to that person specifically about your questions. But yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. We do offer that. It is pretty exciting, and I'd love to see more students do that. So if you keep an eye on things, or if you send me an email, once I know the person's been hired, I just don't know if I can share the name. Okay, so if you send that to me with just like a follow-up of this, then I'll make sure I connect you to that person.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
So there's a question, does Groves also have the Flex program? No, the Flex program is a unique program to Seaholm High School. Groves
Flex has a
the-
program, called Excel, and it's similar, but it's not.
It's not the same thing. I
Yeah,
mean,
it's not the
they
same
do
thing.
offer a lot of great opportunities at Groves, but Flex is
Yeah,
a very
absolutely.
unique thing to Seaholm.
Well, we will stay here for another 3 minutes, okay, just to see if there's anyone else who has a question or wants us to come back to find another link for one of the disciplines. And we really appreciate your time and your patience with this format and my tech skills. So we really do appreciate that and wish we could have been in person. We'll look for those opportunities as soon as we have them to do something where we do get our kids in here. And definitely we will change the date in May, but we'll let you know that, we'll publicize that. Then in August, there will be the student orientation and the Make Me a Maple, which involves the kids, and it's exciting and it's fun for our students. So we're looking forward to that as well. And again, until then, please always feel comfortable to reach out and ask any questions. The counselors obviously will be going back and forth and working with the students in the 8th grade to make sure that they're ready for this transition in terms of their course. And we'll have those done in August. I know it seems late, but that's about how long it takes to get everything, solidified.
I have a couple more questions in the chat. If a student starts in standard math track, can they accelerate at some point? We do have a built-in acceleration through the trimester. So if we switch out of the trimester, I don't know what that will look like, but I know that in the past there has been a mechanism for that. Though I don't know, that might be a good question for Dr. Wilhelm, who's in his private Zoom, but we have had one in the past. I believe we will continue to have one. Question, where can I find contact information for the name of the counselors for incoming freshmen? That is on the C-Home website. The counselors are alpha based. So depending on where your last name is, they will have the counselor that works on that last name. C-Home versus private schools go. C-Home's a great school. That's a very broad question because there's a lot of different private schools in the area. It really depends on what you're looking for. But I think C-Home has some great unique relationships with like the Chrysler Corporation for a robotics team. We offer a lot of clubs and sports through the size of our schools that some of the private schools cannot offer.
Right. So I would say definitely the curriculum for some of the privates, we offer more AP classes, more diverse curriculum. We just offer more classes because we're a larger public school. The athletic opportunities that we have, the club opportunities that we have, I think make us a real special place. I understanding, as Mike said, that there are all sorts of reasons to send your students, I suppose, to private schools. But, we think that right here, you have one of the best schools in Michigan. And so we're very proud of that. And we have a staff who is well-trained and eager to work with your children. They have multiple degrees. We have an Einstein Fellow who is in our science department, who works with students in STEM and in research. We have a robotics team that is always number 1 or 2, and as Mike said, receives all sorts of connections and monies from corporations, especially the automotive corporations around us. We have a wonderful and diverse program in terms of the arts, the liberal arts here, and I would suggest that there's really nothing, actually often private school teachers want to come work for us. So this is a wonderful place. And I think you're going to find a great connection. I personally have been here for 32 years. So if that's a testament to how good a school could be, then I think this is a pretty special place. Okay, well, then if it's all right with everyone in here. Oh, one more question.
We have 2 more questions. How have you dealt with students coming in after the pandemic? The middle school years have been so different.
Right. Well, as Mike has said, he's done a lot of contact tracing, as most schools have. We have dealt with it by following the CDC guidelines and our district guidelines of mask wearing and trying to encourage vaccination where appropriate and where the family wishes. And we are keeping everybody abreast of the numbers. You could go to our website where you will see, the number of students that we have had in school as positive or quarantined. So we keep that very transparent. But I think that we are doing actually better here than in Birmingham, both Groves and C-Home, than many high schools in the county, because we just have a population, I think, in First that is vaccinated. Okay, we often find that our students are vaccinated, and then and that they're careful, you know, as much as they can be. And so I guess that's how we.
I don't know if this was, I don't know if this was your answer, the angle, but you know, our freshman teachers have been very intentional with what they do to welcome our freshmen back into the building community. We have reflected on looking where learning gaps may have been from the 8th grade core classes and how we can close some of those gaps with the 9th grade curricula. And that's true about all 4 grades, not just incoming freshmen, about looking at what our classes might need, you know, what a math 2 might need to pick up from math 1, or what a French 2 might need to pick up from French 1. And things like that.
Yeah, and we also put money toward a math interventionist deliberately for that, in order to be able to address the gap and that little bit of dip, which we've seen, and which every school across the country has seen. And so we did reserve resources for that, and it's been a wonderful, wonderful resource, I think, and it's done really well by our students. We have had our academic labs, which we referenced, we geared some of them toward certain courses so that it could address some of the dip there. We looked at lowering the numbers in some core freshman class. We've tried to work with our students in terms of their emotional and mental health. We've deliberately and intentionally put employed strategies to relationships between the students and their we know that how important it is to feel connected and how disconnected they've been feeling. So we've done a variety of those things. So thanks, Mike. Yeah, that's definitely something we've been intentional about.
And our last question, Groves versus Seaholm, what are the key differences between the two schools? What are the differences in what the schools offer? I can jump on number 2. Every class at both high schools are offered to both student bodies. So
well, we try to do the
things.
core. Yeah, we try to do.
Yes.
You take your core here, but you know, you can. How many kids, Mike, do we send each period back and forth?
We send about 120 kids a day. So it just depends on the hour. Some hours, you know, there are certain classes that are only offered at Seaholm, and there's certain classes only offered at Groves, but they're open to both schools. So the hour that we might have business law or architecture, which are 2 Groves only classes, we have more students heading over there, but we offer the computer science and the robotics courses here at Seaholm, and our Groves kids come and join us over here. So those are some of but the courses are definitely the big draw that people think, but every course for the most part offered at either building is open to students from either building.
Right, and I think we, both buildings, I think the faculty and the administration of both buildings have respect for one another. I think kids have a healthy competition, okay? I noticed that some of those Groves Seaholm games can be intense, but I think for the most part, it is a healthy competition. And so I think you can't go wrong with either school. And so, yeah, please, you know, check them both out.
Christy, question, is there cost associated with having your child taking AP testing? I mean, just to pay for the exams or?
Yes, just to pay for the exam. It's not required. All students can take an AP course, and at the end of the course, or in May, actually, a student can opt to take the AP exam. And if they're doing well in the course, it makes sense. It can be used for college placement and college credit, and that's each institution varies. We have over 3,000 colleges out there, but it can be a cost savings. So it's $100 this year. College Board, the testing agency that creates the AP exams, they set the price, and this year they're $100. And if our families have any kind of need, whether it's an AP exam, an ECT test, an SAT test, college application, we ask our families to reach out to us because we can do our best to get you connected with some different funding sources through the district.
Okay, it looks like that. Did we lose Kyle?
I think
well, that's a good sign. It's 8:07. Time looks like we're done for this evening. Thank you guys all for coming. If you have any more questions, feel free to, all the department chairs are on our website. You can reach out to them individually or myself, Ms. Hall or Ms. Spryzak. Thank you guys for coming.
Thank you.